So let's look at a complex case where we have a composite wall, but there are multiple walls and they are not exactly arranged in this parallel or series fashion. So this is the last case we'll be looking at. So earlier we have looked at a couple of more cases also. The first case where we had assumed conduction, purely conduction. Then in the second case we had assumed fluid motion around both the surface. In the third case we assumed a composite wall. There were three walls in contact with each other, and in this case the fourth we are assuming some more complexities. Let's draw a complex case which has, let's say, a thick wall which is A over here, then we have D over here, then we have B over here, C over here, and D. So this is a bit complex case, and over this we can clarify a lot of concept. So there are two possibilities based on the assumption or based on what our observations are in the real case. So the first possibility is we are assuming the surface is normal to x. That is, surface is normal to x are this. So this is the x direction, and the surface is normal to x are this surface and this. These two are the surfaces which are normal to x direction, are isothermal. So these surfaces are isothermal. So they are at equal temperatures. And the second possibility will be assuming the surfaces parallel to x direction are isothermal. So that will be another case. For this case, my equivalent circuit would be something like this. Let's write the temperature. So this is temperature T1, this is temperature T2, and this is R. Let's leave all the values. This is LA, this is LB equal to LC, this is LD, this is KA, KB, KC, and KD. Okay, so we have given all the values. Now we start with the temperature T1, we'll end at temperature T2. Let's start. So first we'll have to conduct heat from T1 to T2 surface at least. Okay, so there will be a resistance for conduction. Then there are two bodies B and C, so we'll separate them out when the normal to x direction surfaces are isothermal. So in this case the B and C are represented like this, and then we come to D. Okay, so in this case we have RTH of A, RTH, thermal resistance of B, thermal resistance of C, and thermal resistance of D. Okay, and the value of this would be, so that value will be LA upon KA into A. This value will be LB upon KB into B. A. That A is the area. This will be LC upon KC into A, and this area, obviously the areas of B, the area of C, the cross sectional area of B, cross sectional area of C, cross sectional area of A, and this will be LD upon KD into cross sectional area of D. So those will be different, obviously, right? Now we can write the RTH net as the RTH of A plus RTH of D plus these two are in parallel. So we already know how do we write them in parallel. So effectively they will become into RTHD upon RTHC plus RTHD. How do we get there? That is because they are in parallel. Hence RTH net of parallel, these two B and C would be these are not equal. These things are not equal. I am writing this for B and C. So this will include 1 upon RTHB plus 1 upon RTHC. Yes, B and C. So this would be B and C. Okay, and when we simplify this, the RTH net of B and C will be equal to this value. Okay, hence I have written it directly over there. So that's the expression when we are assuming the first case. When we are assuming the second case is assuming surface is parallel to x direction are isothermal. In this case, my equivalent circuit would be, let's start with here the temperature T1 and we immediately break off. So over here also we have temperature T1 and we get temperature T2. Over here this will be LA upon KA into the area of A by 2. We'll take half of the area of A and half of the area of B, D. So this will be LB upon KB into area of B. This will be LD upon KD into area of D by 2. Over here we'll have LA upon KA into area of A by 2. This will be LC upon KC into area of C, and this will be LD upon KD area of D by 2. Okay, so I think you can use basic logic and reason out why did we write the expressions for RTH net differently in these two expressions, or why the circuits are represented differently in these two cases, right? This is simple. So I think after this we can easily write the RTH net value. First we can make the series of the top 3, then the series of bottom 3, and then at the end we'll take the net value by this parallel of top 3 and parallel of bottom 3. Okay, so that's all we have. I think these concepts are clear to you. Thank you.